Talk about the lifestyle commitment prior to embarking on GH peptides. What do people have to do? This video is sponsored by MeWe, the #1 pick for men on TRT. Shop now at MeWe's using the link in the description under this video.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about, priming the ground. First, we got to get your testosterone optimized. And when we mean optimized, you might be functioning at 50% of where you can be. Let's get you to that 80 to 100%. Once we have you exercising 2 to 3 times a week, you're not smoking, you're not stressing your life out, you're getting good, deep and REM sleep throughout your week. And then measuring things like your IGF-1, IGF-BP3, which we tend not to test all the time, the IGF-BP3, because it's very expensive. Testing your insulin levels, your A1C and glucose. Why do I say this? Because, for example, insulin and IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor 1, compete for the same receptor. So if you're a guy that's eating starchy foods and your insulin basically is, you have the first signs of pre-diabetic or pre-diabetes
or metabolic
disorder, then hey, using a peptide for you to induce growth hormone might not be very good, because as you increase the IGF-1, you're spending most of the medication's time trying to blunt the effect of the insulin. So insulin has to be at bay. Literally, we like to see it under 6 for fat burning. Hemoglobin A1C. We like to say that pre-diabetes is like saying you're halfway pregnant. Pre-pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not. We like to see hemoglobin A1C optimally 4.5 to 5. So we know you have a very inflammatory lifestyle. Anti-inflammatory lifestyle. You're oxidizing very slowly. So when you put a peptide in the body, there's going to be a good chance of a good reaction. And one more thing that I want to add to that. So once again, we don't test for it unless it's like done through insurance or unless the patient requests it. But testing the IGF-BP3 is imperative if you really want to understand how to prescribe it. Why? Growth hormone has a half-life of 20 minutes. IGF-1 has a half-life of 8 to 10 minutes. But when bound to an insulin like IGF-BP3, it extends the lifespan of the medication to 20 to 24 hours. So you're going to have the effect of the medication running a lot longer. So for example, my brother and I, we run about 2,000 picograms per milliliter on our IGF-BP3. And we know quercetin is one of the best ways to increase it. And we're trying to just get it to the 4,000 range. Anything above 4,000 is phenomenal for peptides, because you're literally extending their lives.
Yeah. But, you know, to kind of answer your question more concisely, what does a person need to do? This is you know, again, you and we, I mean, us and you have talked extensively about philosophy, right? It's important. So, you know, unfortunately, we see a lot of players in the space where they start people off with a buttload of stuff. I mean, TRT, peptides, and they use it almost like a blanket, right? Oh yeah, keep it running all year round, right? Which is, you know, great for business, right? But 2 things happen here. Number 1, this is about a patient learning his body, right? So if we're of the belief that if we give you too much too soon, you're not going to know exactly what's working.
Or worse, we want you to always rely on the basics.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong, we know the basics work.
And aside from that, there's a big chance of you being overwhelmed, right? If this is your first time and you're injecting testosterone 2 to 3 times a week, you're injecting peptides every single day, twice a day, and then taking all your supplements, and this is new for you, you're gonna quit. You're gonna be overwhelmed.
It's like never training, and all of a sudden training 6 days a week.
Yeah, you're gonna call us crazy and psychotic and all this stuff, right? And the worst part about that is that we don't get offended, but you're gonna miss out on the benefits. So what we like to do is, look, Michael said it very beautifully. Let's prime the ground. Let's stick to the fundamentals. Let's get you amazing results to the fundamentals so that that's your home. You can always come back to the minimum with the basics, you know, your testosterone and your supplements and good nutrition, good working habit. Stick to that first for 6 to 8 weeks. If you can manage that, then we've got a foundation now that we can build on top of. And now we can get really specific about your goals. What do you want to accomplish? Well, some people might say,
remember, what he's saying is if your hemoglobin, your insulin, all these things are within base. So for example, now what we're using a lot that we're seeing that works really well is using a GLP, like a glucagon-like peptide, like semaglutide and AOD, to help the person reduce their hemoglobin A1C, bring insulin back to base, show them that you don't need to eat as much food as you think that you need.
Rewire the connection.
Rewire the connection to your brain to run the system with less food. And we're big on taking essential amino acids so you don't have any catabolism of the muscle. Then by the follow-up, now depending on the person's where they're at in their lifestyle, we can talk about other things.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, we turn people that come diabetic, pre-diabetic to non-diabetic like that, and we we do it left and right. Yeah. But again, it's once we've established the foundation, then we say, okay, now what do you want to get done? And the guy might say, hey, listen, I have no muscle tone. I want to increase in muscle mass. Okay, we go this direction. Or say, hey, listen, I'm going to an event. I'm going to Fiji with my wife. I want to look great. I need to burn some fat, then we go this direction. So that's why I said peptides are really goal-oriented and they have to be very specific. But again, we have to prime the ground.
Yeah. Awesome.
So and to close that out, for example, we just started using, we think it's very important to educate and empower the patient. Yeah. So if we see that they have no nutrition or lifestyle understanding about how to approach their health, then we'll send you a special collection that we have of documentaries or books in order to help you achieve what we've done. We're only giving you what we've done. Yeah. Now, by your follow-up, hey, have you done the homework? Right. We see that you haven't done the homework. Hey, I think we should just stick to the basics.
Have you read the book that I sent you that I paid for? Oh, no. Okay, well, I didn't put it in there so I can look cute in the box. We want you to understand not only what you're doing, but more importantly, we want you to understand why you're doing it. Because when the going gets tough, and you and I both know that sometimes you just don't have the motivation, you have stress, life happens. And when those moments get tough, or when you're you have an anxiety eating attack, you know how to measure that out and stop, or, get yourself back on the horse and in the right direction.
That's when discipline kicks in. When motivation is lacking, your discipline kicks in and you're able to achieve what we do.
Right. Consider becoming a channel member for exclusive features, like loyalty badges, early access to new videos, funny stuff like rough cuts and bloopers, members only photos and status updates on the community tab, and members only live stream chat. On desktop, use the join button next to the subscribe. On mobile, use the join link in the description.